Sinclair 775, helping out a customer here, they wanted to know what they could do, and fortunately he lives pretty close to me, so I pounded the posts, 5 posts, and then delivered the materials. He picked up some materials, and then him and his son built the array, and with very little instruction, they did great. Then I had one goofy panel that I noticed it when I drove in this morning, right in the middle. It's just the way the sun was hitting the cells, it just popped. And I'm like, so we swapped that panel out, so everything looks uniform now. Cut off the cantilevers. Wes got it all wired up. We landed our IMO pull box up there. And the customer also trenched the 2-inch pipe in for the DC run for this. So every job, every house, everything is different. So we ended up wanting to basically run everything. So we took the loads. We're going to take the circuits that are in here. There's like a well pump, and then there's these HVAC units out here. We're going to move them over because everything in here will be tied to the grid. So we're going to move them over. We add a panel, and then to combine this panel with the panel that runs the home, we have a power distribution block right there. So we're able to pull the leads out of the meter and plug them into that PDB. And then out of the other side, we'll come up here and run that. So now we have both of these panels connected, and then we'll run the grid. We'll just go badoop through the top of the disco and down and in. So we're going into a crawl space here. And then we're putting our equipment in a garage. It's kind of a funky angle here. In here, where the equipment is, of course, is our typical bypass inverter. And then to get into the band, we put another little baby gutter to make our life easier. I just didn't want to set this one down so low and make it look weird. So just added that little gutter as a cool move to feed our wires. So we'll be bringing the solar in, and we still got to pipe that in the crawl space because it's high voltage DC. It's got to be piped. And then let's see what else. Our load out grid over here, load back, grounding, all that. And then we're going to start off with just a small battery bank, 400 amp hour Giga Stack, 4 batteries, and we'll get that positioned over here. We already got our mix in. Yeah, that's already in. So we should be able to wrap this baby up tomorrow, get it connected to the web, and start monitoring it just in time as the utilities change to time of use rates, and we really need to be able to deal with that and dump this battery in and minimize the grid, minimize that peak, that there's quite an upcharge on the peak. So, all right, so I think we've got a good plan for tomorrow. We're also going to hook this generator up, and he's been running this on propane, and so we'll just do some testing. We're going to put a generator inlet out here, make sure that the customer can charge his battery. That's it. You don't need a fancy generator with these systems, and hopefully you don't need a generator at all. But in case you have a lot of people, the weather's really bad for a long time, and you want to get that battery charged up, those 4 batteries will charge up from the 20% that we're going to discharge them down to about 90% in an hour and a half with this guy. So I don't know if it's 12,000 continuous, but I think it's 10 continuous. Either way, it will not take long to top those batteries off and get you out of trouble. So that's it. 42 panels, 19.2 kilowatt hours of solar down there. And we've got our utility disconnect, extra panel, back to back. We got our multiple gutters, and we pulled our DC in. We just got to build that. It's just a long crawl. Poor Willis in the crawl space. Should be able to wrap it up tomorrow, do some testing, commissioning. And the only thing that I don't have is the micro air. He's got another condensing unit somewhere that I've got to go look at now. Little in-process shot here. We probably should be able to wrap this system up today. So 400 amp hour, small battery bank to start, plenty of room to add. Gonna see how this does. We're gonna use this definitely during the new time of use rates for this utility to minimize the grid during those 3-hour intervals that rotate throughout the year. So, but we will program that inverter, and it's got multiple calendars in it, so you can do your summer time of use settings, your fall, your winter, whatever you have for your utility. It's enough in there to cover all the bases, okay? So this is our standard hybrid battery backup system. We do added a generator inlet just for long-term grid down outages. If we want to top this baby off, that's not going to be a problem. A little new move here because of the way we wanted to get our back and forth. It's kind of a weirdly framed house over in this corner, and so this just worked better to double up on the gutters to get through the bands and then get to the other gutter. And then our solar is coming in using the Greenfield corrugated metal, just like a little 3-foot jump around this corner. I'll show you on the outside. So typical 15K Sol-Ark installation with our bypass in, and we like to leave room for not clutter but an extra inverter if they ever do want to step up to do an extra inverter. Easy to expand these systems if you think ahead. So we got load up top, grid step lugged on the bottom. Those are UL rated lugs, and so we're fine there. I know that's been questioned on whether you can do that or not, but that's what we've been doing to daisy chain. The grid comes from the meter to a disconnect to here, and then we head off and land the grid in the inverter. Then through the inverter, load back out to the other side of the disconnect. Now from there, we go back outside to a power distribution block. I'll show you that. And then out here, we've got that load coming out. James is finishing up landing the wires in the PDB. That's the load PDB that's giving us power to the house 200 amp panel and this 100 amp panel that's going to get these circuits. So those circuits are going in this panel because those are on the grid and we need them off grid. And that's again the air conditioners, some of the, I think the pool pump is on this, and future well pump. They're thinking about putting in a well. So we're going to go ahead and get this set up so when he does put a well in, he can just run the circuit from this panel and trench over to the well.
You're up.
And now we just got to finish these grounds before I fire up the Sol-Ark, because it'll give me a GFDI F08 blah blah blah, because the Sol-Ark looks for a neutral and ground bond in the system, and if it doesn't detect it, it yells at you. It's supposed to. And where are we bonding our neutral and ground? And just in the main, we're going to do that in the main meter panel.
Only in one place.
Only one place. And we're using, because we have a 200 amp main breaker here, we can use a non-fused disco, non-fused disconnect. When we don't have, and it's just a simple meter base combo, a meter base that's not a combo, we use a fused 200 amp fused disconnect with time delay fuses. So we're just ready to wrap this up, start closing things up, test it. Batteries are in closed loop, and then the solar's been turned on. And then it'll be clean up, test it, run this Jenny, and label, clean up. We still have a micro air on the 5-ton where I got a better shot with nobody standing in front of it while everything is open. The only thing remaining is we're gonna tie all these grounds together, get it up into this panel, bounded with their ground bar down here. So this went back and forth. It basically just goes in this bizarre, well, the framing is weird, and then we come and get into our gutter in the garage. So not too bad. Added the generator, the L1430 inlet plug there. So we're good. Clean all this up, get these out of here, put them in here. I think we're good. All right, another system up and running. It's a wrap out here. Customer's got a few things there. He was responsible for the ditch, so I don't want to hear it. He's got to clean that up a little bit. And then in here, we're up and we're running. We're done. We're waiting on inspection. We'll get inspected on Monday, and time of use settings are in place, working as they're supposed to. We're good. I don't understand the app taking so long for it to populate. It's the only issue I have right now. But all right, another system done. Hopefully customer's going to find out how much battery, how this much battery works or doesn't work for them at critical times. But with the generator and understanding how the system works, he'll do just great. All right, you folks, need a system or need assistance with a system, just let me know. This is Engineer 775 signing out.